Hey everybody, it's Matt Powers. I'm an author, a gardener, a seed saver, and a family guy, and I teach people all over the world how to be more regenerative, how to partner with nature to solve the problems that they encounter in their everyday lives, and also how to have a lifestyle and a livelihood that honors and pairs with nature. Because that's the next step. I mean, all over the world, people are realizing, even governments, we may not see it in our media, we're not seeing much information in our media, but it's happening. The rest of the world and people all over in our neighborhoods and all over our countries, all over the world are recognizing that we need to partner with nature. All of our economies are rooted in nature. So that's what's going on. And that's what I teach. And today we're talking about Korean natural farming. So do you guys know about that? Because, when I heard about it, I was like, Masunuba Fukuoka natural farming? What's Korean natural farming? I don't know what. And then I got all these mixed messages, and I got a lot of people who had that, that first core syndrome where they're like, no, it's only Korean natural farming. Composting is evil now, and they freak out, and they're like, nothing. And so I encountered one of these people, and I was like, whoa. I don't know what this is, but you're out of control. And so I just was I don't know what it was. The things they shared didn't reflect well. And then I found Chris Trump. Have you guys found Chris Trump? If you want to see a really awesome perspective, a really educated view, and a professional view of what Korean natural farming is, check out Chris Trump. That's the person who really, got me into understanding what was going on. And it was only after reading Radical Mycology, between, encountering that, and it happens in permaculture too. That person's like, put a swale everywhere, herb spiral, you know what I mean? You've obviously seen that trope around too. And so, that happens with everyone. It's that honeymoon phase where anything you say, you cannot speak anything will against my Atkins diet. It's the best. It's people go, and then, it's just phases. So I read Radical Mycology by Peter Mccoy. If you haven't read that book's absolutely phenomenal. And I love Paul Stamets. I love the stories, but you don't get the same clarity and organization and understanding of what mycology is. Those are great, amazing books, necessary books. We need everything by Paul Stamets. But we should all also know Peter Mccoy and Mycologos, and all the work he's doing is absolutely the work that needs to be done to get everyone involved with fungi and to get fungi involved in all parts of our lives. And they need to be. So I read this, I came to this great understanding for how, we work with fungi, we cultivate it, and we partner with fungi. So I'm going to go into what I really learned from that as a basic idea, and then I'm going to talk about this page from the Permaculture Student 2 workbook that's coming out May 1st on Amazon. And this is going to change everything, because I saw these online, and after I had read Radical Mycology, I had such a great understanding. So I understood what was going on. And on top of it, I had Peter Mccoy and Elaine Ingham going over my stuff with me. And so I had this really deep understanding of what was going on. And then Chris, who is also trained by Elaine Ingham, and he was also, went to school for soil science. He has real training and everything in school. And he's also real training from real life. He grew up on a family farm, macadamia nuts in Hawaii, and he does all their maintenance for the soil and for the from preventing pests and diseases. So he's management for that, and so he's real. He's really doing it. He really understands it on all the different levels. And I was like, this is mycology. Korean natural farming is mycology. You're doing this outside of a laboratory in a non-sterile environment. It was unbelievable, but the way they were doing it was so smart, so intelligent, so clever. And that's why, when I saw it, Chris Trump was, the way he was teaching Korean natural farming, I just understood it and then I understood what it meant, and it was really, really interesting. I mentioned it to Peter Mccoy, watched the videos, and now he has a team actually working on doing these preps so that they can actually understand which fungi, who is responsible for all these amazing things that Korean natural farming can do. So, all right, so let me explain, right? So radical mycology, you learn pretty quickly that to work with fungi, you need to provide it an environment, and then you need to provide it food, moisture and all these different things, temperature ranges. But it's really like providing it a substrate to digest, and then keeping the environment right. So it's you feed it, right? And so some people are, they're growing oyster mushrooms on blue jeans. You've got people, growing on, the standard things, which is like, nutrified sawdust. You've got grains. You've got, wood chips, logs. You've got all those kind of standard things that people are growing with. And you've got the saprophytic decomposer fungi, and then you're growing on compost and manure. Those are like the button mushrooms. Those are the first cultivated mushrooms, in Europe. The first cultivated mushrooms in Asia were way earlier on, and that's where we get our shiitake, culturing knowledge from, and amazing stuff. And that's why they all understand the medicinal qualities of mushrooms over there. They've been working with fungi with a real intention for a lot longer. And so you feed it. You get a substrate, a woody substrate, and you feed it. And so on a farm, you've got all this substrate, right? Like this agricultural waste, like plant residues after the crop's taken off. And so there's all these different ways that people are dealing with this. EM, bokashi, people are doing that right. But Korean natural farming is really interesting. It uses IMOs, which is Indigenous Microorganisms. And so these Indigenous Microorganisms, Bruno, it's all right. Shh. This is my healer puppy. He's just talking to the roosters. The roosters scare him. He's a little intimidated. All right, and so these IMOs, they're using them. So they're not importing anything. They're using indigenous microbes. They're using agricultural waste, and they're providing their own fertility. So what I wrote in the book was, this is an entire farming, fertility, waste, and pest management strategy that relies upon indigenous microorganisms and biomass, usually agricultural waste. Chris Trump is a Korean natural farmer in Hawaii that uses Korean natural farming methods on his family's farm for fertility, soil health, and to fight ubiquitous problems other macadamia nut farmers face in his area. He has an entire series of freely available Korean natural farming videos showing step-by-step how to create all the Korean natural farming preps at home using resources almost anyone can access or replicate. The basic concept is IMOs are captured in a thriving wild ecosystem to be scaled up using a variety of methods akin to mushroom cultivation, but without the sterilization or pasteurization needed. But there's more to it. There's ferments, and there's other things, and he goes into that. But I just wanted to just cover the initial IMO preps today. So number one, this is IMO 1. This is where you initially capture and you can do it from multiple areas. You really should do it from multiple areas and get a right culturation. That's why Elaine, in my course, the Advanced Permaculture Student Online, talks about everyone from their unique areas gathering a small sample of indigenous fungi, of indigenous microbiology. Because, when you grab the fungi in that soil there, that'll have other things in it too. So, that's fine. But you're wanting to get that fungi is really going to be the leader, the guy that's going to be gathering and organizing, the alchemist that's going to be doing all these things, and you bring that into your system. And then you scale it up. And it's really amazing how they do it. It's really kind of, it's totally not what you expect. And you can see how this naturally happened, probably at one point. And then people started using what naturally happened to turn into And I like a way to do this outdoors. So, all right, so IMO 1. Using a woven basket or a box with holes in it that are covered with screen, we can inoculate undercooked rice with IMO, primarily mycorrhizal fungi, but an entire spectrum of microbes will be present. The soil food web will be represented by filling the box 2/3 full of that undercooked rice and placing it in a healthy soil area where mycelium is present and visible usually. Okay, so when you see that, you're like, oh wait, this is where I want to take that sample. Yeah, maybe you should just put the box there and get a really big sample instead of you taking that little bit. You put the box down and then they come into the box and then you take the box away rather than you disturbing the soil and all of that, right? Okay. Cover the box by stapling on breathable paper, like paper towels, or use a basket lid. If it's like a woven basket, it works amazing. Check back in 4 to 5 days to look for white fluffy mold. If it's raining in your area, you're going to want to put a tarp over it, but you're going to want to allow wind flow at the same time. And check back for looking for the white fluffy mold, and that is IMO 1. Number 2, all right, IMO 2, combine and mix the harvested rice and mold with equal parts brown sugar in a large glass jar. Seal the jar with 2 layers of paper towels and let it ferment for a week. Now you have IMO 2. Isn't that interesting? So, so what this does, essentially, they've captured it and then they have put it into this like stasis where, it's ferment. It's just really fascinating that they're taking that life and they're like, okay, here's now sugar for you to feed on, which is, really, really like easy to digest. And if you know liquid mycelium culture, you're creating a sugar bath there too, with other ingredients, of course. But that's what's going on. I mean, think about the soil. What are they trading with the plants that they're partnering with in the soil? They're trading for sugars, for carbon that they're cracking, from the CO2. From the atmosphere. All right, IMO 3, similar to bokashi, right? Ready? 2 ounces, 60 milliliters of IMO 2 are mixed in with 60 pounds of 27 kilograms of biomass like flour, bran, or even macadamia nut kernels and shells. Compost the mixture for 7 days at 110 Fahrenheit, 4 to 3 Celsius, and you get IMO 3. IMO 3 can be used to make a compost tea for foliar applications and soil soaking. So IMO 3 is like a compost, like compost that you like a bokashi. It's like a vermicompost. That's what it is. And so, but you did it by capturing, scaling up, and then inoculating a very specific substrate that you have. That's your agricultural waste, or the leaf litter in your yard, or the stumps that you gather, chopping up and everything and re-inoculate. Well, I don't know. Yeah, I think but the stumps are already inoculated. I don't know if that would work because the stumps are already inoculated. But wood and agricultural waste and all these things that are not inoculated, they're going to be inoculated. All right, IMO 4. It keeps going. Combine 2 parts IMO 3 with 1 part field soil, 1 part native ecosystem soil with 5 gallons of water. Compost for a week, and you'll have IMO 4. Do you notice how they're scaling up? This is how he keeps inoculating. Well, and Chris does on his videos, doesn't he? He does a great job. He's actually one of the teachers in the Advanced Permaculture Student Online too. And so he does an amazing job. And so he's inoculating this stuff. And we all can do this too. So we are inoculating this stuff, and it's just scaling up. This is exactly what happens in mycology that we learned about. So we have the liquid mycelium in your jar, and then you could take a syringe through that air port, and you spray that onto your grains that are that you sterilized, and then those will just start growing, they'll get inoculated fully, and then you'll start sprouting mushrooms. Or you can take it up from there and then mix that with wood chips or another substrate, and then have it, you keep going along this chain. It's like, for instance, like the oyster mushrooms. It's like, so you get the liquid, you get the grain, and then you can mix it in with your cardboard. You write cardboard. Then you can, take your cardboard and then you can mix it in between pieces of wood and then inoculate the wood. And it keeps just going and going and going. So that's what I'm saying, and that's what I'm trying to communicate today, is that there's all these connections between these disciplines that no one's talking about, because these individuals, these niches, have been focused on what they're doing and exploring it and fine-tuning it for the past few decades. And no one's really created organized framework until my work. And you know what I mean? So, continuing on, IMO 5, combine IMO 4 with a nitrogen-rich biomass like manure or leftover biomass from producing black soldier fly larvae with 4 to 5 gallons of water depending on the moisture level of biomass. Not too much moisture. It should hold and break up easily in your hands. It will get up to 130 to 140, 55 to 60 Celsius, and then cool off quickly and be ready to use in the garden in approximately a week. This prevents the nitrogen from gassing off, trapping it in fungi, and prepares the fertility to be more bioavailable for the plants and the soil food web. That is IMO 5. So suddenly, it's a week of composting for high nitrogen, because we've ramped up, we've prepped, we've trained, and we've diversified this particular series, and it's got to be a consortia. I mean, I really don't think it's one fungi. I think it's a group of fungi and other things that are going on. It's going to be really interesting to hear from Peter Mccoy what his research gets from this, because then we're going to start having people do this around the world, and then we're going to see how Korea's actual IMOs are so different from everyone else's IMOs, and despite that, we're seeing the same amazing results in all these areas. So there's a Pacific Northwest Korean natural farming group too. It's a little cold out here. It's about to be a cold rain in a second too. So I hope that you guys are all still there. Are you still there? Let me see. No, I didn't lose you. It looks like you're all still there. So that is just one page from my book, and like I said, that's just scratching the basics of Korean natural farming. Chris Trump is the expert there, and there are other experts, and he's starting a school called Korean Natural Farming Online. So he has a Patron campaign for that. He's going to be a teacher in my course, the Advanced Permaculture Student Online. I'm going to be visiting him in Idaho. He actually flies to Hawaii back and forth. He does so many things. He's an amazing guy. So yeah, I want to talk tomorrow about Bokashi and EM, because that's another thing that I really didn't understand, and so I provided the in the first time around with like my book writing it, I'm like really hesitant and careful with my language and now I really understand it, so I can dive down and flesh it out and start connecting it to everything, because that's the thing with what I do, is I have to have a connective prior knowledge and the actual schema and framework of understanding, because I'm a teacher, and if I don't do that, I'm not doing my job, and that's just like my training. So because that's how we best learn. If it's not connected to your framework and understanding, if it's not connected to something you already know, it won't stick. And I really want all these things to stick. I want you to take these things in and make them part of your daily life. Make yourself, part of the regeneration. So this is the last week for the Advanced Permaculture Student Online signups for the full package. The digital is hanging out for another 34 days. Actually, it's almost 33 now. But this is the last week because I need time to print, to pack, and then to ship it to you, because so that you get it at the beginning of the course, not like in the middle of the course, because printing takes a while and shipping and all that. So this is the week, so sign up, join us. It's going to be absolutely incredible. We have almost 60 teachers in the course, and I think we're going to have almost 100 by the end of the course. and it's lifetime access, and you get 7 ebooks, and then there's the full package, which has, I mean, the AMAC Beauty package, which, you know, has this CT, which is this multiple use bath with seaweed and sea salts. It's luxuriant, and it's also, I mean, really like this health thing for your skin and for your body. You take in the minerals, and then it's also got, like, you know, this amazing sea lotion and sea juice, and it's this facial treatment that my wife doesn't use anything else on her face now. She loves this stuff. And so, and you know, I'm using all their seaweed pills. I'm loving it. I'm just, you know, taking tons of seaweed pills, getting all those greens, and I'm gonna start. I want to start raising seaweed myself. And yeah, so there's Bradgate Seeds. Do you guys know about this? Bradgate is the guy who created 60 new types of. Bradgate created 60 new types of tomatoes in the past 20 years. And he did it by taking wild genes, by taking the stripes off of green zebras and putting it on everything. And he was able to make the black tomato, like the true black beauty. Have you seen this thing? It's unbelievable. The anthocyanin blushes on all the food, and the anthocyanin, like, amazingness that he's getting to happen is truly a health miracle. Too. It makes the tomato much healthier. He's actually improved it with just hand pollinating and really seeing what nature will give him. He's really humble, and he's like, oh, we'll see what nature gives me. You know, he's not trying with intention. He's doing these things and then letting nature express and then following that. And so he's created 60 varieties in 20 years. That's 3 varieties a year. And he's teaching people now how to do it themselves, so that peppers, you know, I mean everything, you know what I mean, anything you can think of, corn, you know, carrots, everything can start being bred into more varieties, because we can do so much with our food. We can breed back all the varieties that have been lost in many ways. So he's going to show us how to do that, but he's also going to include his seeds. And these are not just the stable seeds that are all the varieties that everyone else can buy. These are exclusive. These are crosses. These are non-stable. These things are going to give you crazy expressions of variety, which is great, because then you can pick what you like and create your own tomato, calibrated to your own variety, your own taste, your own colors. Unbelievable things are going to come out of this. New varieties of tomato are going to come out of this class. People's businesses, livelihoods, lives are going to change because of this course. It's going to pay for itself for so many people who apply the actual lessons learned. So those seeds itself are a huge value in of themselves, exclusive value. And then we've got my seeds. And then I'm buying some Seed Savers Exchange seeds that I want to share with you. Seed Savers Exchange is like the permaculture of seed companies. A nonprofit. You can join and sell your seeds through their network. You don't need to start a business and do all that. All right, so Seed Savers Exchange. So Seed Savers Exchange is so incredible because you actually can find out where the seeds are from, who grew them. You can call them up and be like, hey, I'm finding this crazy like expression in the seed. Be like, oh, no way, that's a crazy cross. I need that, you know, please send it back to me, or whatever. There's amazing things that happen when you know that the seeds are where they're from, how they were grown, and these are the rarest. And this is a huge catalog. So, and it's organic, like things are labeled organic too. So the Seed Savers Exchange is absolutely unbelievable. So they're included their seeds in there, and my seeds in there, and then we have biochar from Blue Sky Biochar, and then we have Sonoma Biochar, and we have bioceramics from Sonoma Biochar, and then we actually have a course notebook and sketchbook that's specific for this course. Then we of course have the Permaculture Student 2 second edition, which I'm just finishing right now. I'm formatting, and I finished all the corrections and all the new information and all the updates, because there's so much to be had. I had more engineers going over things and talking to me about the complexities and deeper understanding so that it could scale and be applicable to all the different learning disciplines at all the different levels. So it was really, really awesome to get that in there and to fix those things and to be formatting now. And that, all right, so anyway, the books, the Permaculture Student 2 set, the textbook and the workbook are included. And then there's goodies that I can't tell you about because they're surprises, and I want you to be surprised when you get it. And you're like, what? Yeah. And the goodies keep coming. I mean, people keep adding to the goodies that I have. So, yeah, fun things are happening, amazing things are happening, and new teachers are joining the course every day. So this is the last week to do that so I can get that to you in time. And of course the digital's still open, and of course, you know, I always do payment plans. I'm here to help you guys. And I'm really excited. This course, we almost have 200 people in the course. This course is gonna, you know, explode. We haven't even really started. I mean, we're over a month out before starting. I know, you know, we're closed to the full package now, but this is like, you know, a special thing that we kept open from the Kickstarter originally. This is from the Kickstarter. These are the Kickstarter goals that we just extended for everyone. So this is like a super special thing that we're extending to everyone, and this is the last week that it's available. So I just wanted to share that amazing thing with you. Korean natural farming is absolutely inspiring, and it really opens the door. When you hold these things up and start measuring them together, you start seeing bokashi, thermophilic composting, hot composting, vermicomposting, EM, Korean natural farming, and you start seeing all these like similarities, principles, and unique expressions. And then you start being like, oh, well, that unique expression does that. And this unique expression does that. And that's why using, you know, Organics Alive doesn't use manure in their preps. And that's why they only use, you know what I mean? Like, there's real reasons for everything. And we're just we're just getting into it. These businesses are based on it. And that's why these teachers are like finally sharing this information with the world. They've developed it. Like, it wasn't in a textbook. You know, that's what like Elaine Ingham like talks about in the course. She's like, you know, it's only in my lifetime that we've figured this out. It's like it's still happening and developing right now. It's an ongoing conversation with nature. And our understanding is continuously developing. And it's so amazing to be part of it, because once you're part of it and you understand like the parameters of what's going on, it's not like it's not like this thing where like yeah we just don't understand it. No, we understand it really well. We just are researching, and then it was like, well, we have to do all these tests, and we have to like talk to each other, and we have to build these, you know, like there's so much work to be done because the discoveries we've made already are so big that we know that there's information. We know that there's all this unknown stuff because we've seen it. We've seen what's possible. All right, anyway, I could go on for hours because that's what I do in the course. Thank you so much for joining us on this cold, almost rainy. It drizzled for a second. You're under the roof, so that's why you guys aren't wet. But it's warming up. Spring is in the air during the day, mostly. And, you know, we're going to have an amazing spring this year. This is the year of regeneration, and I hope that you join us. I hope that you feel like you're taking part in the regeneration too, no matter where you are in the stage of your adoption. I'm Matt Powers. Grow abundantly, learn daily, and live regeneratively. Have a great day, guys, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.